A very good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to today's episode. Do hit the like button and leave a comment on what you think of the podcast. I look forward to hearing some feedback. Three things that we can look to hear on today's episode would be the world's largest hedge funds lost decade warning, Wirecard's big drop, and ECB reached another trillion euro milestone. Wall Street closed mixed for the second straight day, with the Nasdaq eking out a small gain to book its fifth winning session. A disappointing employment data and rising COVID-19 cases weighed on the sentiment. On the macro side, initial jobless claims rose by about 1.5 million compared to a market expectation of 1.3 million, triggering concerns of a slower than expected employment recovery. Treasuries extended their advance with the 10-year yields below 0.71. Dollar rose against every G10 pair except for the yen, with the pound leading the declines. Gold edged down. Nikkei futures are higher and Hang Seng is pretty much flat. Oil rallied as Iraq told OPEC Plus that it will fully implement its output cuts this month. Stocks are facing a lost decade. Ray Dalio's Bridgewater warned that a reversal of the strong growth seen over the years in the US corporate profit margins, which have provided a big chunk of the excess returns of equities over cash, would lead to a shift that would go beyond the current cyclical downturn in earnings. Globalization, perhaps the largest driver of developed world profitability over the past few decades, has already peaked, is what the firm's analysts said. They also cited that the US-China conflict and the pandemic as catalysts and a focus on reliability as opposed to cost optimization. So interesting comments from the world's largest hedge fund, something to take note of. The Bank of England expanded its bond buying program to counter the coronavirus slump, but kept some of its powder dry should the labour market worsen more than expected. So the policymakers led by Governor Andrew Bailey voted for a boost in quantitative easing by £100 billion, while holding the benchmark interest rates at a record low. Interesting to note was the chief economist Andy Haldane favoured keeping QE unchanged. The BOE didn't discuss negative rates. As expected, the Swiss National Bank also left its policy unchanged. House Democrats unveiled a 1.5 trillion infrastructure plan that Nancy Pelosi said will be voted on before July 4th. It includes spending on roads, bridges, public transit, schools, housing and rural broadband, and also the postal service. Moving on to equities, shares in Wirecard closed lower by nearly 70%, and its bonds also were hard hit after the German fintech company disclosed that auditors at EY couldn't confirm the existence of the 1.9 billion in cash. The company, which has delayed its annual report for the fourth time, suffered one of the worst stock slumps in the history of Germany's benchmark index. It warned loans of as much as 2 billion euros would be terminated if the results weren't published by Friday. Biogen fell the most in almost 2 months after a ruling that invalidated its patent on a multiple sclerosis drug, which is basically responsible for 29% of the company's 2019 revenue in the US. Kroger fell about 3.1% despite reporting a first quarter EPS that beat estimates. Facebook removed some ads and posts shared by Trump's campaign for violating the company's policy against organized hate. This is the first time that they're doing it, so it was interesting to note. On the rate side, Federal Reserve's announcement that it would begin buying individual corporate bonds unleashed a 2-day 50 billion borrowing blitz this week that took the year-to-date US investment-grade issuance to 1.13 trillion, more than the entire amount sold in 2019, and we are only in June. The ECB reached another trillion euro milestone in its fight to boost economies. Offers of its ultra-cheap 3-year TLTRO loans were taken up by about 742 banks for a total of 1.31 trillion euros, which was in line with consensus. Saudi Aramco may sell bonds or loans to meet its commitment to paying 75 billion in dividends this year, even after reducing the headcount and borrowing billions of dollars to buy SEBIC, is what the CEO said. On the FX side, the action was on the Aussie dollar after unexpected decline in the jobless rate. So the labor data came in much weaker than expected. The country shed about 277,000 jobs versus the expectation of 125. And the treasurer called the report devastating. Still, the Aussie recovered most of its post-news dip and in fact was pretty much flat for the day. Pretty light day in terms of data on the FX side. Japan's inflation number is the only major data print that we are looking forward to. That's your market update. Stay safe and healthy, everyone, and have a lovely weekend ahead.